Yeah, so rounding, to take the mysticism away from it, it's essentially a very ancient practice which consists of a specific sequence of yoga, asanas, and then you marry that with a specific breathing technique, and then you'll then sit and dive into a deep meditation, and then after lie down and allow your body and nervous system to integrate. So the asanas, essentially what they're doing is they're triggering the brain, the mind, the nervous system to go inward, triggering the deep relaxation response in the body. And then having done that, we then go into a more subtler plane. We're working with the breath, and we do a particular pattern of breathing which it creates coherence within the two cerebral hemispheres of the brain. So it creates this balance, and it creates basically the foundation for someone to take a very deep dive in meditation. Because often in our domestic practice, we're kind of doing it before we go to work or when we come home, and there's a lot of sort of static in our systems. So when you're on a retreat, you get this opportunity to go really deeply into a process. So with rounding, you're doing that one coordinated movement, which takes approximately 1 hour. And once you finish that, you go into a second, third, potentially fourth round, and so on and so forth. And everyone does it according to, I guess, their level of enthusiasm and need. But it becomes quite, not addictive, but you do just get in this spontaneous flow. Like sometimes you're doing 6 to 8 hours of practice a day, which if you told someone before they turned up they were doing that, you'd never actually see them on the premises. But it becomes very enriching and rewarding. So you get this real positive feedback from it. And essentially it's de-exciting the whole nervous system. And when you take your nervous system into that state of very profound rest, you're triggering and awakening the healing response. So it begins to burn off and discharge stress, tension, fatigue, build up anxiety, trauma, etc., stuff like that. And you're just creating perfect conditions for healing to happen. And it generally isn't easy for the body to do that when it's busy orchestrating life as we know it, you know, getting to work, picking kids up, doing shopping, socializing, exercising, etc., etc. So it's a very, I guess, advanced form, a very profound way to generate deep healing in a short period of time in a very safe way. And you could say like a weekend of rounding, or 2 to 3 days of practice, gives about 6 to 12 months worth of benefit that you would normally attain after a year of meditating. So it works deep, and you feel amazing afterwards. And the process isn't grueling or torturous either. You just start to access this deeper zone within yourself. You get into a subtler and more refined level of mind and consciousness, and what you start to realize is that at your core being is this field of contentment. And the closer you get to that, the more joy you naturally feel. So you're learning to kind of get closer and closer, and then get immersed and absorbed in that for several days. And the process of rounding, or the science of rounding itself, it's taking your body into a hypometabolic state. So it's really shutting the system down and letting it just go into a state where there's very little internal arousal. So you're not feeling like you're panic, stress, you have to guard yourself, protect yourself, so your body can just then unravel all of the distortions which it's acquired over the process of years of life and living.